Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So today I want to talk briefly about Josh Giddey and him going viral for something other than, what his name's been buzzing about the last few weeks. But this is pertaining to the basketball court and some of the weaknesses in his game as far as defending guards, at his size, being able to sit down and move those puppies, and also his own offensive game and the way that the Houston Rockets were kind of half-heartedly closing out. And, if you look over the course of Giddey's career, it seemed like he was on a steady progression shooting, but his field goal numbers and his three-point numbers are down. He was never a great three-point shooter, but it's down this year, close to what it was his rookie year. And I think it's a couple of things because Giddey puts in the work, and he has this thing going on, the aforementioned viral thing with the 15-year-old girl, but also the way he's being played on defense. When someone kind of half-heartedly closes you out, and you're not a confident shooter, you may start to think about it if you're a certain type of player. And I think that's plaguing Josh Giddey right now. He's a great talent, but looking at this OKC team, the ascension of Jalen Williams, the ascension of Chet Holmgren, him kind of being ahead of schedule in some people's eyes, and also, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the alpha dog on the team. You look at it, they had to play Isaiah Joe and Wiggins and some of those guys a little bit more because of Josh Giddey's reluctance. And sometimes, a reluctant shooter can really, really destroy the continuity on the offensive end. And it just seems like the OKC Thunder was out of sync all night as these plays roll that I'm showing you. You could take a look at it, and the coach was asked about it today, and this is what he had to say about Giddey and his offensive struggles. Let's peep.
And he's like, it's the first time I've gotten played like that, which I think is an important point. It's like he's been here for 2 years, and I look at it as it's a compliment to our offense that we're seeing that now. And, in the last 4 games, Minnesota, I mentioned it after the game, but we scored 60 points on the best half-court defense in the league. They zoned us in the second half. Could have handled it better. Dallas, we're up by 20. They start double-teaming all over the play. Could have handled it better. Last night, cross-match onto Josh, switch with Chet. Could have handled it better. But those are to me, that's like the natural course that you have to go through. You have to go through those struggles to evolve. And I think it's particularly interesting that we're playing Golden State tomorrow because they were a team that they had a lot of success playing a very distinct style. The league is not just going to sit back and let you do what you want to do. Everybody adjusts. So Golden State gets switched. Golden State gets blitzed. Golden State gets switched off ball. They stay with their own off ball. And they've developed all these tricks against all these different things where it's like no matter what you throw at them now, it's familiar. But the point of that is they haven't just like hatched into that. Like this wasn't where they started. They started with success a certain way. Then they probably struggled their butts off for a long time with the adaptations they were seeing. It forced them to evolve. They had to clear those hurdles, and then they got better, and then they got to a point where they were like almost unbreakable, and that's why they were so good, because not only were they good with Plan A, but when you went to Plan B and C against them, they still had solutions. We need to develop the solutions, but I look at the fact that 3 out of our last 4 opponents have gone to something that's totally non-conventional for them as a complement to our offense, our base offense. And just a challenge for us now that we have to evolve. But, I don't want the emotion of the moment to get in the way of the perspective that this is a process that we're going through right now. It's the first time that we've had a good enough offense, probably, collectively, that we're seeing the kitchen sink. And now that we're seeing the kitchen sink, we have to calibrate, we have to improve.
So when I hear the coach talk, he has an interesting perspective, and that's very encouraging if you hear your coach talking about it in that way. The offense has improved. In OKC Thunder, I believe they still number 2 in the West after the Minnesota Timberwolves. So when you look at this team, they're a legit threat. So now it's not about, let's just play a man and, let Shea get his because they're a team that's not going to win anyway. No, they have the pieces to beat you night in and night out. So then it turns into, okay, what are we willing to give up to give us the best chance to win? Because you got to give something up. Are we going to let Jalen Williams be a scorer, playmaker? Well, Jalen Williams is a playmaker by nature, but he's also a natural scorer. So he can go into that role. You go back and look at him at Santa Clara. When he came in, that's why he was so comfortable doing either or. When Shea would go out, his numbers would go up because he's comfortable in either role. He's comfortable defending. He's comfortable all over the floor. I just love the young man's game. Chet Holmgren. Chet just kind of floats out there. They run some plays for him, but Chet can be effective without plays being run for him. So Chet can impact the game by protecting the rim. He can knock threes down, and he plays really good off Shea. And sometimes you see those two guys on the same side of the floor, and you run and pick and roll, but Chet shooting so good, you try to give Chet that, but now it's got to the point where Chet has hurt you. You can't give him an open three. You can't give him an open 15-footer or nothing like that, because he shoots really well and he's able to take it off the bounce, and he's got an advanced skill set. So teams aren't really comfortable giving that up. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, you're going to have to send to and sometimes three, and I'm going to tell you why. This young man gets to spots on the floor and score. Like, he's one of the best scorers I think I've ever seen, as far as like just the ways he can do it. He's one of those guys that's going to a spot, he gonna shake you up off of him, get to where he want to get, rise up, knock that down most times. And he's a 94% free throw shooter, so he's one of those scorers you never want to send to the foul line, and that makes him more difficult to defend, because you don't want to send someone to the line that's going to be an automatic 2-3 points, wherever you foul him at on the floor. Send him, God forbid, for an and one. So this guy, he's the top scorer in the game as far as I'm concerned, as far as the ways he can get it. So what do you give up out the lineup? I mean, Lou Dort, sometimes you give him shots, but Lou Dort be making his shots sometimes now, and he's not as reluctant. He was very reluctant a few years ago, but now Lou Dort, make or miss, he's not reluctant. He has confidence that he's going to knock the shot down when he's given the opportunity. So you look at him and Giddey, and you may give up one or the other. Giddey is the one who's shown the most he'd rather play make, and there's nothing wrong with that. Instinctually, that's what he is. He loves passing. He's an advanced passer. He likes to score when he takes his opportunities. He doesn't like to score based off of someone, giving him the ball, because they're trying to, God, what's the terminology I'm looking for? Pick their poison. So he's going to have to learn to knock shots down whenever they are spoon-fed to him, because he's going to get a lot of those going forward. Teams looked at the Houston Rockets game plan. You better believe they're like, oh, Giddey, he's not comfortable having to score. He's not one of those guys that's comfortable getting 25 until they switch it up. You know what I'm saying? He's not comfortable knocking down them open threes he gets. And when you swing it that first time, you saw in a couple of those plays where they swing it to him, he's open the first time, but he tries to swing it to the baseline, and the guy guarding the baseline kind of halfway act like he was going to close on Giddey and jump back to the man he was about to pass it to. That can turn into a steal, because if people can predict your movements, then they'll know you don't want to shoot. And so, but anyway, in that clip I'm talking about in particular, they swung it back to Giddey and he shot it and missed it. So that's like, okay, he's scared to shoot. He only shot it because they swung it back to him. And that's that reluctance I'm talking about. Not that he's a bad shooter. I think he can make them when he's in rhythm. But he's going to have to be somebody who's in rhythm when he walks in the gym, because that's what teams are going to be willing to give up. Your game plans change. The game plans change against you when you start to win. And Giddey's going to have to play off these guys, man. So I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. We're talking some real hoops today. I want to hear you guys' thoughts, man. Is Giddey, y'all think like this is more so about what's going on with him in the news, or do you feel like, he's just a reluctant shooter by nature, and that's just his game, or you think there's something is going to improve? It's just going to take some time. Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, peace.